What is going on, everybody? It is Trader Cause coming to you with another video. I hope everyone is doing well and surviving these market conditions. It's been pretty crazy recently, so I figured I would post an update video, talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum for sure. We'll go more into depth with those two, and then maybe I'll look at Litecoin or Link or something like that if we have time. But let's jump right into it. I want to look at just a clean higher time frame chart without any lines on it or anything like that, and just show you guys kind of what I see. So first of all, let me highlight this. We have weekly support here, and if we dip again, this is kind of the area I'm looking to buy. I'll zoom into that and show you guys more later. But other than that, we took out last week's low, and now we are back above last week's weekly open. If we can hold above that, that would be a good sign. Ideally, I'd like to get this candle body above the bottom of this candle body. I don't want this red candle to completely engulf the green one. So I'm keeping an eye on the weekly open from last week, and I'm keeping an eye on this high if we dip further. So that's kind of the first part. Zooming into the daily a little bit, we dipped down, took out stops from this entire move up there, and today we've kind of just consolidated. I'm not going to put too much weight into this current daily candle, just because it pretty much just shows me a little bit of indecision. It is fully inside the previous candle. There's not much of a body, wicks on either side, so it can go either way. I don't want to dig into that too much. Zooming in a little more, 4-hour chart. This is Monday's low. We are holding above that so far. I would call this 4-hour demand. It looks a little, this price action here just looks a little bit funky to me, but that is okay. I think essentially either Bitcoin holds this general level and we put in a higher low here, or maybe a little lower and then push up, or we are going to like 40K. So let me pull some of my levels on here. This dotted line is that weekly level I was just talking to you guys about. And then we have some demand right there, right underneath that. So that is one of the main things I am looking for if this does dip further. And like I said, if we can't seem to hold above this entire consolidation, this cluster, whatever you want to call it, I think we're going here. And I have some bids in just in case it does dip down or happens quick or happens while I'm sleeping. But if we get that, I expect quick buyback, and probably I expect to move up really quick after that if we do dip down there. We don't have to. I think we are starting to get the makings of a bottoming structure forming. Like, we consolidated for a bit. There was a lot of volume here, so I think someone was accumulating in a pretty big way. This is Monday's low. We broke above it, retested it, pushed up, and today we've kind of just been consolidating a bit / dipping. But as long as we can maintain this low, I don't think we see 40K. Obviously, that sounds kind of obvious, but I guess it can help you guys out in the sense that I don't want to buy anywhere in there until 40K, just because I don't think there's any real strong support until down there, maybe this high. But yeah, I've got my bids around 40. So what do I want to see to be a little more certain that the low is in? Well, we have this range kind of forming here. I know it's not the cleanest, but I do like the mid-range of this one. And I think if we can get above that, like I've drawn here, that could be another sign that we're showing some strength. We did take out these lows, and we have our daily close in an hour, just about 57 minutes. Oh, let me mark the weekly open from last week, because that is an important level as well. TradingView just updated this, so it looks a little, I'm not used to it yet. And would you look at that, right where we're bouncing, weekly open. So if we get this, if this pushes up, I think you can start to build a long position with a stop loss here. I don't think it should go back below that. I really like this 30-minute demand right here, and we swept, came right into roughly the middle of it, and we're pushing up from there. So this is looking pretty decent. We're above the daily open, above last week's weekly open, which has kind of been a pivot, above Monday's low, and I just think we are due for a bit of relief. So I'm keeping an eye on the mid-range right here at 50K, just above 50K, and then the range high, I think you could get a nice scalp in between these levels from like 51.5 to 53.5, give or take. But that is the first 4-hour resistance that I'm looking at in terms of where I would want to start trimming if I'm in a long. And then next would probably be this daily supply as the next target, and then possibly even Monday's high, because we literally put in Monday's high on the very first candle of the week, and that's pretty that's an anomaly. And I know this week has been an anomaly in itself, but yeah, I'm not ruling out any possible scenario. I did tweet earlier that I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the week we were trading back above 55K at like 58 or something like that. But here's kind of my plan right now for Bitcoin. And then I have one other. So this is the bullish scenario. If you guys want to take a screenshot of this or something, this is basically what I'm looking for. Targets are here, here, here. So that's the plan. I think you can start building a position above the mid-range, add on above the range high if it can hold it. And then I'll tell you guys about the other scenario now as well. I'm just going to hide this because I don't want to delete all those levels, and I'd rather just draw over. So this level right here is hourly supply. I know I kind of covered up the candle now, and you guys might not be able to, well, no, I guess you can see my cursor pretty well, but we've tagged this 1, 2, 3, 4, and then kind of 5 times on that last wick. So we've tagged this quite a few times. I think some stops are building up around all these highs. We have like quadruple highs basically. And so this is really strong resistance because we've tagged it 4 times. And so a break of that would absolutely be a nice opportunity to long. However, I am keeping an eye on a possible grind up and then spike and then do something like this. So if we get a spike up into this supply and also this SR, then I think it's possible that was just a stop run and then we continue lower. So I would likely close any longs if I see this happen, and I would probably even hedge some of my spot holdings if we see that. So that's kind of the bearish scenario. Sweep into supply, a lot of stops piled up here in my opinion. And so if we get like a spike and then a quick rejection and get back below, what level is this even? Like 51K. Let's see. Yeah, around 51K. Then I would be looking for some more downside. So those are the 2 main scenarios I'm watching. And now let's move on to Ethereum. Don't want to make this video too long, but so I had this drawn out yesterday. This was kind of the main long scenario I was looking for. We were consolidating here, and we built up this 30-minute demand right when the daily opened. And I was just talking about how these really aggressive moves right when the daily opens usually get faded. And so this nuked, and then we broke back above, and then I was looking for a retest of the daily open and this 30-minute demand, and we just got that, just got a sweep into it. And so I think this is a really nice opportunity for Ethereum. I did long some here at 1580, so hopefully the low is in, but I'm just following my plan there. First target is this 4-hour demand right there, and then second target would be the Monday's high. Not 100% sure if we get there, but Ethereum structure does look a bit better than Bitcoin, and I think because Ethereum looks so good, it might mean the low is in for the rest of the market. But let's see. Let me show you guys kind of what I'm looking at. So we retested all-time highs right here. So obviously this is some strong resistance. But not only did we retest all-time highs, but we also have weekly demand right here. And this 1400 level literally took us a month to break through. And so if you really think we're just going to nuke through that on the very first try, I think that is just a little foolish to think. So I do think this looks pretty good now. Ethereum maybe even looks a little bit better. That's why I did long some here on the retest at the daily open. My stop is at this low. So that's kind of what I'm looking for here. Let me see what this line is again. Oh yeah, that low. Can't remember what I wanted to say about that. I guess just that it's been resistant. So I mean, it's just essentially just an SR level. So looking for a flip of that could be an opportunity to, well, more so I'd be looking to take some profit here, because even if it flips that, this is kind of a short. There's just not much room to work with if you want to play along in between there. I think either you long here up to this area, or you long above that up to here. I don't want to get too caught up in between that. But yeah, so that's Ethereum. Hopefully, I mean, I think this could push up a bit and then maybe like sell off during the daily open and then push back up. But overall, structure looks pretty good. We're sitting right. This is that weekly support that I was just talking about. Here, let me pull up a weekly chart again. Weekly demand right there. Same kind of area that took so long to break. If you look at it, this high pretty much lined up directly with that. So, I mean, I definitely don't want to be shorting here. I am starting to look for longs, but I'm not 100% convinced that the low is in. I am long Ethereum. I am fully in spot in my trading account. So, yeah, we'll see what we get. I'll talk about Litecoin really quick just because I have a pretty clear plan for it, and it's aging well. So I drew this really roughly, but essentially we have a range right here. I picked this high from the bounce and then the low that it made before pushing up again. And we just swept that low into this 30-minute demand once again, just like Ethereum. And now we're back in it. So if we can get back above here, this is Monday's range from last week. So this is a pretty important low, and you can see how it held support us here. Price stalled for a bit there and rejected there. So Litecoin actually looks significantly cleaner to me than other coins. Like, I just think the levels are getting some really nice reactions. It did front run this daily SR just barely, but zooming out a bit more, like it's right into weekly support as well. So, and not only was this Monday's low, this was last week's low. So a little bit more confluence there, but let me draw this a little more neatly now that I'm recording a video and not just having it drawn for myself. So we have 30-minute demand. We have a range right here, and look how good this mid-range has had interactions. So what I want to see going forward, maybe we get rejected here, retest the range low, but then as soon as it gets above the range high, as well as Monday's low from last week's low, whatever you want to call it, it's both of those things. And then we also have this hourly supply right there that we weren't able to break above. So if we can break out, retest that as support, I think this could be a really nice long opportunity. And at that point, my invalidation would be right here. If you were long right now, I think your invalidation for now at least would be at like 168. But I would try and enter something like this, targeting last week's weekly open, last week's Monday's high, and then I guess this week's as well. Let me pull that on there. I don't want the chart to start looking too messy, but oh yeah, and that's some pretty solid confluence as well. Look where we just retested Monday's low. So a lot of things are lining up to make me a bit more bullish here. The picture is starting to get a little clearer for me. So want to wait for just a little more price action to play out. That could give us even more confirmation. For this, I think it's going to be a breakout above this level, which is also this level, which is also the range high. And yeah, so that would essentially be confirmation for me to get long in a hurry. Ethereum, talked about that. Bitcoin, a lot of them look pretty similar, so you can just play whatever can give you a better entry at the time, but that is pretty much all that I'm looking at. Keeping an eye on the Sam coins, like Sol has been awesome. FTT might give some nice long opportunities. It's kind of messing around with this range. Maybe this is the range I should be working with, but keep an eye on that. And Serum, I think all these could give some really good opportunities this week just because they are super bullish. I'd be looking for this to flip the daily open from yesterday. Serum's kind of just been consolidating this entire day, which is fine, but once that breaks, I think it gets I think it gets going, and we could be targeting $10 with that. So that's about it. If you want to trade those and anything else, you can use my FTX link, and pretty exciting stuff. I just got bumped up to a 10% fee discount. So anyone that uses my link will now get a 10% discount on fees. So if you'd like to, go for it, and I would appreciate it. And as always, reach out to me if you guys ever have any questions, and I'd be happy to help. So I will talk to you guys in the next video.